I'm talking to you, so come on. Shout!
Good morning, everybody. Welcome back. 18 minutes after the hour. Welcome to the Sunrise Show. Craig Fronikin. And with me this morning, Clay Bearnson, and he's Medford City Councilor from Ward 2. And Clay, it's great to have you in this morning.
Thank you, Craig. Good to be here.
Have I told you congratulations? Have you been in since?
I haven't been in since last fall. So
okay, so congratulations on your win.
Thank you kindly.
You're on the city council, so they meet every other Thursday.
First and third Thursday we have council meetings, either at noon or 7 or both, and okay. with intermittent study sessions in the Thursdays in between those, and even study sessions and whatnot in between the council meetings.
Very good, very good. And you were on the parking commission committee, and then that kind of got you into city government, and now there's other committees that you're on.
Well, I was on the parking and arts commission before I got elected to the city council, and fortunately I was able to be appointed as the council liaison to those two commissions, so I haven't strayed too far from them, so I still have a feel of what's going on those two commissions, and as well I picked up the Housing and Community Development Commission.
Okay, gotcha. Yeah. Well, there's so many issues, and it's always great to hear from the city. We have kind of a once a month segment on city business and things. And of course, just coming out of the paper yesterday, this very weird, this Senate Bill 931, and sponsored by Oregon State Senator Dr. Alan Bates and Sal Esquivel. And it was interesting. I've got it right here in front of me. And the most amazing thing is, I've never seen a bill so short in all my life. It's not past line 4 on the page, and it's over. But they hit a snag. And it all talks about repealing the sunset on provisions that prohibit annexation of specified land without written consent of owner of land.
Yes, sir.
You know, you read that and you go, why did they have this law in the first place? It seems to be. Yeah, I understand large corporations and possibly. Massaging them into a community. And then the odd thing was, and this was the point that I wanted to bring out, you or anyone else on the city council had no knowledge that this bill was even up for a vote.
We were unaware of the bill until it was brought to our attention by our state lobbyist. And
the interesting thing is, this article coming out of the Tribune by Damian Mann, it says, could jeopardize family wage jobs or an additional $510,000 in property taxes to the city, but also annual revenues more than $800,000 could be imposed if they were annexed. This is just estimates made by city staff, and you're thinking, okay, so these landowners that are in industrial land that are in the county currently would now have to pony up and pay these funds? So the legislators didn't know that this was going to happen?
I'm not sure. I like I said, I believe that it was brought to their attention, and perhaps these three companies lobbied our state legislators to come up with this Senate Bill 931 is my guess, but I couldn't tell you for sure.
Yeah. Well, it's good timing because I'm going to have Representative Sal Esquivel on the program tomorrow.
Oh, great.
So I'll ask him.
Yeah.
And there has to be some simple solution, but the interesting part is one size doesn't fit all. And Medford, because I was saying my first observation would be, okay, so the tax revenue would shift from county funds to city funds. You would think straight across.
Ultimately, yeah. But it's not a matter of the city looking for more tax revenue necessarily. It's just a matter of local control. And this takes away our local control. And we would not be allowed to annex them in without their permission. And as the city grows, you have to annex in, residential area. You have to annex in industrial area, and I'm not sure why these three companies should be exempt over any other companies that are right outside the UGB.
Exactly right. And then you're thinking, okay, large employers. I know this has gone on. This is kind of this practice is as the state massages and brings larger corporations. I mean, Intel, Nike, Google, right? I mean, you know that they're cutting deals on tax revenue for properties, and I think that's probably what they call it in the legislative terms, is the sunset clause. So they give them, say, free tax for 10 years, and then after that goes away, now all of a sudden, that's where that sunset clause would come into play. Interesting, though, and it has to be a unintended consequence. I don't think they were seeing that, but then, like you said, local control, and then unbeknownst, that's very odd that it would have gone right through. And
that's the peculiar part of it.
And
we did not know about it.
Right. What's interesting is Timber Products, Boise Cascade, Harry & David, they expressed concern that annexation would require paying additional taxes. So obviously it would affect them. Would they have known that all of a sudden their sunset clause was going away and they were going to have to pay this money? You kind of wonder, did the lobbyists stumble onto something that legislators were going to say, well, this money, it's time for them to pony up?
I have a feeling they were aware of this. That's the sunset coming up next year.
Yeah. So see, it's a 10-year window in which industrial properties couldn't be annexed into a city. So they got a sunset clause. It was there. They knew it was coming. Now it's a matter of whether or not. And you mentioned it, Clay. This is amazing. Fire services and law enforcement would, from the city of Medford, would still access these sites if services were needed.
Oh, absolutely. We'd probably be among the first ones there. If there was a fire, Medford Fire would be there on the spot. If there was some sort of tragedy, MPD would be there on the spot. So, I mean, those resources would still be going there, even right now, with them not being part of within the city limits. So,
yeah, I wonder how that would all play out. And then, of course, you wonder. The companies that are there, I mean, they've enjoyed the fruits of not having to, or lower, I don't know what rates they are. So, well, listen, let's take a break and come right back. I've got Clay Bearnson in this morning, Medford City Councilor from Ward 2. If you've got questions for Clay, well, our phone number's 541-772-8255. We'll open up the phone lines and take your calls coming up after this break. The Bloomberg Market Update is next. You've got the Sunrise Show on News Radio 880 KCMX. Back after this. Good morning, everybody. Welcome back. 35 minutes after the hour. It's the Sunrise Show on News Radio 880 KCMX. Glad you're tuned in. Hope you're having a fine day. 52 degrees. Boy, the temperature's just climbing like a rocket. We've got Clay Bearnson in this morning. He's city councilor, newly elected for Ward 2. And Clay, it's great to have you in this morning.
It's great to be here, Craig.
Exactly. And, we talked about the Senate Bill 931. Looks like they're going to put that off and deal with it appropriately. It was an interesting point that you had no knowledge that this Senate bill even existed until the lobbyists brought it to your attention. We said, whoa.
Our state lobbyists brought it to our attention.
Exactly. And the companies that are in question, I mean, the industrial land that are affected, you wonder where their stand on what is. Interesting, though, that our next topic is this work session for the May 7th moratorium. Tell our listeners about that.
The city council is having a study session about our moratorium on marijuana dispensaries in the city of Medford.
So it is a sticky wicket. I mean, it is clear as mud on this, Clay, and it's related to gathering funding and then rules for dispensaries about where they can be located, right? I mean, staying 1,000 feet away from a school. What are the other concerns you think there might be that are glaring at you with this?
Well, there's a two-headed beast here. The what we're to be discussing on the 7th is I believe specifically medical marijuana.
Okay.
I don't think it's dealing with the recreational side of it yet.
Okay.
So recreational, will be a whole different story.
Yeah, because that goes legal. They can start taking.
They'll start taking applications in January of next year for recreational.
Right.
But as far as the medical marijuana facilities, the moratorium that was granted by, I think, 1531 from the state legislators gave counties and cities the right to impose a 1-year moratorium, and that expires at the beginning of May.
So then applications for medical marijuana dispensaries will come into play, correct? That's what's going to be happening?
In Medford, yeah. I mean, as it is right now, there are a couple state licensed dispensaries in Medford that are not being allowed to operate. And I believe, in my opinion, I believe come beginning of May, it's going to be within their right to question the authority of the city, and they're probably going to do so.
Will it go to court on those? I guess
very well could be. Yeah. It very well could.
What are the concerns that the council has? Is this something that I guess furthers the integrity of the city and the businesses that are here? And I mean, I know that kind of is an issue of, hey, does this make this a friendly place to do business?
Right. Well, I can't speak for the council. I mean, I can only.
No, I understand.
I can only tell you, my take on it. And I mean, in my opinion, this is not going to go away. I mean, Southern Oregon is at the tip of the Emerald Triangle. We do have a prime growing season here.
Yeah.
And there's no doubt in my mind that Southern Oregon will be supplying, the rest of the state with their outdoor cannabis, and it's not going to go away. It's only going to become more and more prevalent in our county, or in our city. I mean, so the sooner we get in front of it and start having responsible, draft responsible policy and tax measures and business license fees and everything, the sooner we can make it, regulate it, and also make it, make it beneficial to our community.
Kind of a user-friendly thing.
Yeah.
No pun intended. What I think folks are concerned about is that folks that use medical marijuana, that it's legitimate, that it's not a trumped-up thing, and that they get to pay the money for the fees and for their card, and then they just get to use it and get away from the recreational side, because obviously recreational is going to be taxed at a different level. I know that there's talk about taxing both medical marijuana and recreational the same rates, so there's that going on. But as if the medical users are legitimate and they've got an issue and it's bona fide, then is there some of that going on still?
I'm sure there is, and I'm sure once the recreational, sure July 1st, there'll probably be some card holders who will let their cards expire, because as of July 1st, they'll legally be able to have their possession on it. And
card holder, that, to buy and have that card on a yearly basis, it's expensive.
It's $200 to the state, and $150 for your doctor's appointment. It's not cheap.
Right. No. And so to renew that, to let that go, as long as the rates, because now all of a sudden the taxes and everything like that. So
yeah.
Wow.
The important thing is not to tax it into the black market, and I hope that all of the cities and counties that have imposed moratoriums, as they move forward, that they approach it cautiously, because the whole intent for our state legislators is to keep this out of the black market. And if you tax it too high, then people are going to go right to the black market.
Exactly right. Exactly right. Well said. Clay, it's great to have you in this morning.
It's great to be here, Craig.
And, keep up the good work up there. And I know you're having a good time and open-minded with the council. So
great.
Congratulations.
Thank you.
Ladies and gentlemen, Clay Bearnson with City Councilor from Ward 2. We'll be back after this break. More on the Sunrise Show. Hope your day is going along just fine.